Alright, hello all, welcome back to Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. As you can see, we are rapidly approaching the release for the new LR, as well as the banner unit. I'm really excited for this Golden Frieza Gogeta card. They look so fun, they look so cool. I think they probably are number one. I mean, we'll obviously see once they're in game, but they just look so crazy to me. So, very excited for that. Now, what we're doing here um, is actually we do have equipment. They did actually get special equipment. Now, this is not to be if you look at the equips here and you remember back to GDC. This is not to be confused with the Popo thing. I know these equips are the same sort of equips that characters were getting from the Popo event, but the Popo event is not returning. This is it's like missions. It's the how do I I saw in the data there are missions already there, and I probably could even find it if I tried, but you'll find it when you log in. There are missions to do. It's not like an event specifically. It's just like, hold on, actually, you know what? This will be better if I let me cut away for just a moment. I'll find the missions, okay, and that'll be better. Just show, not tell. Okay, I managed to find them. Here we go. So you can actually on Dokkan Info see like upcoming missions. So as you can see here, these are the missions. It's literally just like clearing stages with like an extreme tech character, transformation boost, gifted warrior. So these are very easy. They practically give you to them for free. I did want to actually show where you get these. So these equips are coming. Something to note, as you can see from the schedule, obviously it is kind of weird. The EZA for Golden Frieza is not coming tonight, apparently. I mean, he's not in the data. I don't know why they revealed his info with the stream if they're going to hold out on him. I feel like that's kind of silly planning. So I mean, that's unfortunate, but I guess we'll have to wait till next week to use him. But anyway, what we are doing here, obviously we do have the sort of defense equips. So we do have, or I did do some updated Calcs for Frieza and Gogeta. So just going over those real quick, and I think they make a pretty significant buff, especially to like the Frieza side. So if we just go over here, now in total, there's the 800 bronze, the 400 silver. There is 1200 defense. So this is as if your character is rainbowed with the extra 1200 thrown on. So keep that in mind. And I do think it makes actually a pretty decent difference. For this Frieza here, specifically Frieza, like, because he has 70% damage reduction in guard, he doesn't have a lot of, like, actual raw defensive, or he doesn't have, like, a big defensive stat, right? I mean, obviously, 720,000 is not a big amount. However, you do have to consider these equips are making you increase by 54,000 defense, and I'm telling you, every bit of defense will help significantly for this guy. Typically, his active skill is going to be the big thing for him. I think he's going to be incredible. He's going to be able to live stuff, but he will also I don't like for example, is Frieza going to tank like a fully built up Int Rose Super if there's like no debuffs or anything, and his active skill isn't up? I don't think so. He's not. He'd need more defense, and I suppose actually if you get a lot of support for him, he could. But they did sort of balance him. Characters have to have weaknesses. I know that's a crazy concept. Try explaining that to Doke on Twitter, but he is really good. So these make a pretty sizable increase to his defense, I would say. And as we go down here, I mean, these turns he's effectively immortal anyway. And that's Gogeta buff. I mean, he's effectively immortal here as well. But once again, I do think even just like a 54,000 defensive increase is pretty good for him. Now, I also should note, I don't actually have this calced here, but Frieza is actually better, even in this scenario, mind you. Even in this scenario, Frieza is better on double Omega setup, even though he's on the 170, right? So even though it's double 170 that he gets from Omega, he's actually better than even on 220 leads. Now, once you start to really pile up that phase 1 sort of support on a 220 lead or a 200, it definitely starts to outscale, because you're even getting close here. And in fact, I could show this real quick, actually. If we go over here for Frieza, let me just get these in, because I just did get done doing Gogeta, obviously. Okay, so for Frieza here, as you can see, this is 646 192, 646 192, and then let's just throw the the extra 40%, as you could see. I do like to try and show these every several videos or so. But just for example, this is 40% support on a 220 lead. If we instead change this to a double 170, so 340 total, and instead we throw on the Omega support, double Omega support would put him at 390% phase 1. He's actually at 737,138. Now, this is only a 17,000 increase from this scenario. Like I said, once you start to pile on a bunch of support, it will actually outscale. But essentially, I just wanted to show. I don't have like full sort of. I didn't do full calcs for Omega scenario. But if you want to run him on Omega, even though he's on the double 170, he actually is better there. So just throwing that out there. Well, at least better up to a point, right? So I'm actually curious, what exactly would be the point where he would start to become worse? Let's say we got oh no, that's not what I meant to do there. 4. Okay, so it's essentially as you get like 50% support is when he starts to interesting. Okay, so literally at like 50% phase 1 support is when it starts to get better on the 220. But still, the Omega setup, once again, is very, very valid. I really want to hammer that in. I saw a lot of people talking shit on Twitter about this Frieza. So that's, I don't know. I hope I'm not like in agenda mode right now, but he looks so crazy to me, so it's just so insane to see the amount of like trashing on this guy. Regardless, though, just to show Gogeta real quick, obviously he also gets a pretty sizable increase from the defensive equips. By the way, something I want to note here, I did actually already post the updated calcs in the comment section of the initial video. I did make a slight mistake when calcing Gogeta's defense, specifically on active skill turns. And my mistake was, when I did the active skill, I forgot to do this. So, obviously, this is an attack. If you guys don't know, when attacking buffs, because it's when attacking with 20 or more ki, it actually is procced by the active skill. The active skill counts as attacking at max ki, 24 ki for an LR. So this actually does proc when you do the active skill, and I just it sort of slipped my mind originally. So that is my mistake. It's not the biggest difference, because on this turn it literally only affects the active skill part, right? On SA, down was correct. It was literally just this portion specifically that was incorrect, and this portion. And by the way, it is actually a pretty sizable increase, because if we just go to show real quick, 3.5, and then 1, 6.4. Right, if we just go to show, I mean, this is 2,166,000, and then obviously we jump up to what we are here. So it actually is kind of a decent sized mistake. I will say though, I mean, it's really only going to like this. It only really affects stages that have dodge canceling. I think you could actually run Gogeta in fights where there are dodge canceling, but as long as you get 10 orbs, you're guaranteed to be dodging anyway. So it's more of a technicality of an error, thankfully. But it is an error, so I did want to mention that. That is my apologies. And then obviously here, it did actually affect everything here up. So I did, once again, I posted the updated calcs in that video, and they are correct now. So everything down here was already correct, but just I do like to make sure, I do try to double check them, and I slipped my mind that night. So well, I guess that morning. My apologies there. But anyway, here's the calcs. They are obviously both very, very good. I'm very, very excited. At the time I'm recording this, 8 hours 36 minutes out. I mean, it's I guess I should say it. Obviously, as you can see, it's 8 p.m. my time right now. As I'm recording this, is 11:23 a.m. my time. So, we're close. I'm very excited. Hopefully, if you guys are planning on summoning, you can get them. I'm very excited. So I'm gonna end this here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.